This is Radio Free Cybertron, episode 908. I am Brian Kilby. Radio Free Cybertron is the world's first and oldest toy and action figure podcast. We've been around for over 25 years. And I feel it.
And it feels like it.
Yep. With me this week, we have Matt. That was Matt.
Hello.
We have Don.
Hello.
And we have John.
Hello.
Chris, Rob, and Diecast are on assignment. I don't actually know what that... Yeah, together. I think they're like, I don't know, underneath the sea, exploring.
Somewhere there's a tomb being raided for something.
Yes. Adventuring.
Yeah. This is the first episode of November. So just a friendly reminder that the holiday season is upon us. And there are millions of kids out there that will not receive anything this holiday season without the kindness and generosity of a stranger. So pick up a toy, drop it in a drop box, help a kid out. You can go to tfradio.net/shelfwarmer to get more details on where to drop off. And if you do not have a drop box to go to, which is sad, but you know, there are people out there who don't. I hate that for you. But if you want to help out a kid, you can send something to me through the tfradio.net/elf Amazon wish list. We draw no referral credits from it. It'll just come to me and I'll drop it off and it'll help out a child. So do that. So, hey, TFcon USA from Baltimore, Maryland was this past weekend. And I was going to go, but I couldn't because of family obligations. Had a ticket. I guess because I got the premium ticket, that probably means somebody else couldn't. Sorry, but I did offer that up to you guys if you wanted to use it. But Matt, you and Don were there. Tell us, how did it go?
So I had a blast. A lot of the people that I normally see these things, like a lot of people didn't make it, but like there were enough familiar faces there that we still had a good time. Hung out with Miguel and Eric and Aaron from Steel City Bots and Dalton Mack. Most of the weekend, great guys. Wheeljack from the Discord was there. Josh. Just good vibes all weekend, and I really needed that.
So what was going on? Like, did you go to the third party panel? Or were there any interesting panels that you went to or participated in?
So I am terrible about that. I did not do really any panels. I sat through a little bit of the voice actor stuff with the auditions for the script reading. I didn't sit through the script reading itself, but I go to TFCon for the social aspect. Like, I want to find friends and hang out with them all weekend and run around. We spend a lot of time searching through the dealer room or just hanging out in the lobby.
Don, you were in the podcaster panel, right?
Yes, I was.
How'd that go?
It went really well. Charles and Cybertronian Beast were there from Transmissions. The gentleman beside of me I'm afraid I don't remember his name. I'm terrible with names. The gentleman beside of me had worked there. There was some other people as well that was from a podcast that I do not remember. Matt, do you remember who they were
Realm
from?
of Collectors.
Thank you. Yeah, he was from Realm of Collectors, which is part of Bobby Skullface's group. And the people on the end was...
More Than Meets the Ear.
I love that name, More Than Meets the Ear. I've been meaning to tell somebody that.
Yeah, and thank you, Matt. And we had a great time up on stage. We most of what we talked about was, in addition to our shows, what we covered, auxiliary shows if we had them, was about TF1. And we had a very long, very prolific discussion about the quality of TF1, the importance of it, that the marketing team needs to be dragged through the street and shot. And just really everyone there loved it. Everyone there found it refreshing. I had brought up the point that moving forward as a fandom, we kind of need to get off oh, that's new, I don't like it. It negates what I like. And I said to everybody, no, while you may not like something new, like say Earthspark, it doesn't negate what you like, but it does bring in new people to the fandom, which is what this fandom needs. And the gentleman beside me from Realm of Collectors, whose name I cannot remember, and I'm sorry, said that's what a lot of other fandoms are going through. Is they're
Every
having,
fandom has that. It's not a
yeah,
Transformers fan thing.
exactly. Every fandom is like, how do we keep new people coming in and being welcoming without people trying to shut that out because it's not what they want. And if you look at
it's a good problem to have because Transformers is a vibrant, growing property where other fandoms or other properties aren't. Like the Battlestar Galactica fandom ever, have this problem? No, because they're not making anything new. Transformers is constantly coming out with new things. It's great.
Yeah, one of the examples that came up was Star Wars. How Star Wars is kind of in an identity quagmire right now, based with all the properties, everything going on, and it's just, we just have to be careful we don't go down that path, that we get so stuck in the past that we don't, the seeds of the future are buried in the past.
So what else? But let's actually talk more about the convention itself, though. Like, how was the dealer room?
Well, let's let Matt handle this part. But the dealer room,
Don, the dealer room
Don,
is your realm.
How did you feel about the dealer room?
Okay,
that's your home field.
All right, the dealer room was weird, and Matt's going to have to probably try to help me explain this if I don't. It was sort of like going to a ball card show. Either everything was really recent or relatively old, around the start of the 2000s, and not a lot in between. It was just, I saw very little vintage G1, no Battle Gaias, no Guard Cities, a couple of Metroplexes, but nothing that would say like, oh my God, that's a G1 boxed X. And
yeah, like your standard retro dealers like Transformers Land or Artfire 2000, they were not there.
So no Transformer Land, no Artfire. I would have probably felt like I had wasted a trip then.
Yeah. I did see a lot of carded G2. I was very tempted by a carded G2 Manta Ray, but it was $70, and I just like,
I would have bought it.
I wanted to, but it's like, I didn't, because I was just, looking at other things. And a lot of stuff that you can go to the shelf right now and get, which is a common thing at all these shows.
But there was way too much of it.
There was way too much of that. It's like,
so
for example,
like legacy stuff.
Yeah,
yes.
legacy
G1 Optimus Prime, for if you wanted to spend $35 for it.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but it's like I had actually brought I have an extra Filch I brought to sell or trade, and I didn't even see a Filch on the shelf.
So,
but there was everything else you could have possibly wanted was there.
I got a text from Diecast. I think you were on the text about the retro Optimus Prime that somebody's going to sell him for $45. Did that actually happen?
No.
Was that a joke? I think he was trying to troll you, Don, is what that was.
No, yeah. Dan Operod.
Yeah.
He had the stuff that I had left from my Self-Flyer, which I'm sure you all saw pictures of.
4 pages.
It was only 4 pages this time. It did not hit the floor. I'm very proud of myself. I only double spaced and used Comic Sans.
It was longer than the board itself, though.
But I put mine off to the side so everyone else had as much room as possible. I sold everything except for 1 page.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I had an extra retro G1 Optimus there that I've been on the fence about keeping versus opening. So I thought, well, if I can sell it, then I can get some money for something else. I didn't sell it, but he was saying that Dan was authorized to negotiate, and he was going to sell it for $45.
So Don, we've never actually talked about this. Now, when we rode together for one convention, I think you took stuff with you in the back of my car.
Mm-hmm.
But generally speaking, like you have a long list. How much space are you taking up in your vehicle? Because the reason I'm asking is I do want to thin out my collection, and I want to do it in the most advantageous way tax wise. If you catch my drift,
Right. I had basically a large. If you go to Walmart or Target and get one of those larger 60, 75 gallon purple totes, I had about 1.5 of those filled with what I took.
oh, that's
But
not much.
I'll admit I'm very good at playing Tetris in a packing box.
I'm looking at a 40.
You got rid of most of that the first night too.
Yeah, the first two. Yeah, I was doing a lot of wheeling and dealing, mostly Friday night and early Saturday morning. I sold some stuff in line for the dealer room that I took some stuff down with me, set it in the floor in front of me, waiting in line for the dealer room, and sold some stuff.
I'm looking at a 40-gallon tote right now, off to my side, and I'm going to put some toys in that and put them in the storage. That's not a lot of space. I mean, are the stuff you're selling, is it loose or is it
No,
boxed?
90% of it was all boxed.
Wow.
My duplicates, it's like I had an extra Sandstorm, an extra Springer. My goal was to have one of each mode. But when I realized how much space that would take up downstairs, plus it's a transformer. If I don't transform it, I'm losing half of the fun right there. So I really decided to get rid of those duplicates.
The problem for me is I have like 50 of these bins that I want to sell.
Yeah, you're probably just going to have to wait, maybe go to the show and
Maybe
get a table.
multiple shows, Brian.
Okay.
Yeah, multiple shows. But as far as the dealer room goes, I think there was a lot to look at, but a lot of it was also kind of repetitive. You really had to get in there, and it's like an English muffin. On the surface, it's all the same. But when you can get into your nooks and crannies and look in the corners and behind things and, really get in there, that's when you start seeing stuff that for me was like, oh, hey, I didn't realize I needed that, but seeing it, that's a better shape than what I've got. Or I saw a couple of Car2Go bots that I needed, but I wasn't going to pay those prices, but they were stuck in corners that you just couldn't see browsing the front of the booth.
So I want to break format here in a second. I want to revisit the dealer room stuff, but I do want to talk about like fan interactions. Did you get to see anybody? You don't have to name names, but like, how was it interacting with other fans? Did you talk with listeners?
Yeah, several listeners came up, said they liked the show. I told some people, a few people said, I know your voice. Where are you from? And then they knew me from listening to the podcast. Apparently they were just listeners and not watchers, so they didn't have a face to put with
most people are listeners.
Most people are
Just
listeners.
remember that.
Yeah.
Yep. And talked to several people, saw Josh. Just not a lot of the old. I think what hurt me the most emotionally was there wasn't a lot of the old BotCon crowd there. I saw several people, saw Insane Galvatron, who I've known for decades. But just people that I kind of grew up or was around mostly at BotCon. A lot of them have not made the transition over to TFcon, or maybe it could have just been this year.
I think a lot of people just haven't transitioned. It's not the same.
It's not.
TFcon is a different vibe.
Yeah,
Which I've seen some of them at TFcons in the past, like especially the DC shows. I just did not see them this year.
Yeah, and
Right.
like TFcon is a different vibe. I think it's more laid back, I think, than BotCon is. I think in a lot of ways it's more relaxed, where BotCon had the official thing going on, so it was less relaxed. That's the thing I really liked about BotCon was the official nature of it, but TFCon, generally speaking, is more chill and easier to navigate.
I guess you could say BotCon was kind of like a town under Marshall Dillon. Clean, neat, organized. And then your TFCon is more of your Wild West frontier town where it's a little crazy, it's a little bit rock and roll, It's a very different vibe, like you said.
It's like a Dodge City, Kansas versus a Tombstone, Arizona.
That to exactly talk to use our talk in the pre-show exactly. I mean, I saw one thing about with it being an unofficial show, third party does get more representation.
Oh yeah.
And it's
Yes.
good seeing this
Lot.
stuff. A lot of this stuff is on display, especially at Chosen Prime, with them being one of the main sponsors. But it's good seeing this stuff in person because if you're on the fence about it, or it's like that Megatron, that new age Megatron we've talked about, that's going to be Romulus, that's going to be coming out. That's supposed to be 86 Optimus adjacent, but it's more Earthrise. It was great seeing it in person. It was great seeing the completed New Age Lio Kaiser. It was great seeing the ruination that the exclusives are this year, the final result of that. Because I had talked to the guys at the Chosen Prime, and
Is it Ruination or Voltigus?
I think it's Ruination.
Okay.
Matt,
So
am
it's
I
not-
right or wrong? I think the colors are Ruination.
Okay. I think it's Baldigus.
You think it's Voltigus? Okay, Voltigus. Okay, I thought it was Ruination.
I could
No,
I
you're
could
right.
be wrong on that.
No, you're right. It is Voltigus because it's roll. Yeah, yeah. But I'd asked them, is there any chance of us getting a Battle Gaia? And they said that was the problem: is either Battle Gaia or in this case Voltigus, and that one. And so we're not getting a Battle Gaia from those molds, which is unfortunate. Unfortunate. I did ask them to pass along to Ocular Max to make sure that they do their Protectobots so we can get a G2 set of Protectobots.
That'd be great.
But yeah, just a lot of stuff there. There was a Japanese dealer there in the back room. Gave you that early Fumihiko Asura vibes from BotCon. A lot of really great stuff. Hydrodive Bumblebee. They had the animated Optimus with the Magnus armor and stuff. Nothing I really wanted at those prices. Didn't have a blackout. I would have been sorely tempted by an animated blackout. Did not have. Well, Matt, what about you? What did you think?
So one of my favorite things to do at the weekend is always the room sales, like room to room, just running all over the hotel, being a general nuisance. You know how it is. And this has happened more than once, but like Diecast and I usually end up running into the transmissions guys, and we ran into Daryl and Charles again and ended up doing the rooms together. Charles also had his son there, and he brought like a physical tier board, right, and carried it around all weekend and had like different Transformer series on it, Generation 1, Generation 2, Beast Wars, Beast Machines, Earth Spark. There were many. And one of the things like it was velcroed together, and they would go up, and you could at once over the weekend, you could change one thing from tier to tier, and they had a lot of fun with that over the weekend and caused no small amount of chaos. But
Especially at the results.
Dawn's favorite, what I think ended up in the S tier, Beast Machines.
And G2 ended up at the bottom.
Yeah, it was a crime. But yeah, stuff like that. It was a good time. Dawn, did you run into Michael Charles Hill?
Yes, I was going to bring that up when you got done.
Yeah.
Michael Charles Hill is a writer that did he did several episodes. Return of Optimus Prime Part 2 was one of them. But my two favorite episodes are The Gambler and Starscream's Brigade. And I asked him in the panel about, why, he said in the panel basically Smokescreen was not being used. That's why he picked Smokescreen, because no one was doing anything with them. And, there was that. And then he did Starscream's Brigade. And someone else had asked him, did you know you were writing like The Gambler was unofficially the second part of Child's Play, that little duo of episodes, or did you know you were writing Starscream's Brigade, which was the first part, and the second part was Revenge of Bruticus? He said, not really. We had been given like little treatments, and we kind of knew what the overall gist was, but we kind of were each doing our own thing under these guidelines. But I asked him last day of the dealer room. I went back to his table, and I told him that The one thing that's been bugging me for over 35 years in Starscream's Brigade, they keep making it a plot point. They need 5 energy absorbers. They gotta have 5. Starscream can't play favorites. They've got 4. They need 5. They have 4. Next scene, they're all recharging. Where did the 5th energy absorber come from? And that has bugged me for decades. He said, really? That's what happened? I said, yes. That is a major plot guffaw, and I didn't know if you knew what happened. He said, I would check the script that I brought with me to sell because I was going to buy one, but he'd already sold them. So he told me after the convention season and stuff dies down, message him and ask him, and he will check his copy of the script. So maybe I can finally find out after 35 years what the hell happened. He thinks if it was a scene that was cut for time, that could be it, but he doesn't remember without checking the script first. But that was very informative. I love the information I got. Him and I'm lucky I got to talk to David Wise a couple of times, who did Rebirth before he passed away. And I'm really grateful to get a chance to talk to these writers on some of my favorite episodes.
Yeah, Michael Charles Hill was a lovely man to meet. Great. If I heard him correctly, he hasn't been doing conventions for very long. Like he's done a couple, but he's still at that point where he's kind of awestruck at the people who show up for these things, and like the love that we still have for work that he did 40 years ago. So it was really nice to meet him.
So hey, I want to break format real quick. Are we good with that?
Yeah.
So let's talk about what we got this week at TFcon. Like, what were your hauls? Don, what did you get?
Matt, you may want to go first. I've got quite a bit.
Well,
or do you want me to go first, Brian?
I want you to go first, Don.
Okay. All right.
And also,
because Don didn't see what I bought this week.
Don didn't see what Matt got, and I did. And also, take a drink. We'll find out what Brian got next week.
Or everybody else?
So, Don, what did you get?
Don's frozen.
Don is frozen. Okay.
He's back.
Don is unfrozen toy collector.
Yeah. All right. Apparently, my internet connection is unstable, much like me.
Yeah, so is mine. Again.
So, okay. Well, buckle up, folks. It's going to be a ride. Just on topic, Brian, or everything?
It's a Transformers convention. I only care about Transformers.
Okay. All right. Well, starting off, I've got, again, Remaster G2 Masterpiece Starscream. As most of y'all may remember, I did get this last year from an online retailer. And apparently the copy I got was their parts copy. And they never took it down for sale. I did eventually get a refund. I got this one complete, open from the original owner for $80, which is half of what I paid on the one last year. So I got this to go on display beside of my G2 Bruticus from Ocular Max. So I'm very happy to have picked that up for a very good deal. From a gentleman that was selling down in the dealer room, the lobby, I should say, where we all were set up. I picked up.
We weren't supposed to be selling things. But
I
digress.
Yeah, they ran everybody out. Then everybody was doing it. They were okay with it apparently until another time period. But from the seller down there, I got Masterpiece Clampdown, which I did not have Clampdown, and I got Revenge of the Fallen Crab Tank Megatron that I sold years and years ago. That I kind of always regretted it because he was in this form for like 2 seconds, and that was it. But I got them both for $100.
Nice.
Clampdown by himself usually goes for much more than that.
Yeah.
And they've never done a KO of him that I've ever seen. So I'm very happy to pick those up. One of my first purchases was I went way deep into the history of third party, and got the Fans Project Causality Insecticons.
Oh, cool.
Now we're talking some early third party here, but I've always liked the look of them, and I got all three for $60. That's $20 a piece. I don't think I'm going to do wrong with that. So I'm looking because I have their deluxe Insecticons, which I think will look really great on the shelf. One of the things that I'm super happy for was the Transformers Hinkai Phasing Shadow Mirage.
Oh,
The one
nice.
that's partially clear plastic,
Gray.
partially clear, partially that smoke gray plastic to make it look like he's phasing. This, and I've mentioned this to Matt before, this is my Seeker mold. This Mirage mold is my Seeker mold. This and the Legacy version.
How much you pay for it?
I got it for $75.
That's about what I paid for mine a couple years ago. It's a nice toy.
It is. The dealer originally quoted me $75. I asked him if he would take $65. He said best I could do is $85. And I said, you just said $75. He said, no, I didn't. I said, yeah, you kind of did. He said, well, the best I can do is $85. So I walked away for about 2 hours, came back, it's still there. I said, can you honor the $75? He said, yeah. So I got it for $75. So there's that. Picked up the 2 exclusives. The Vortex from the set called Chops, and last show's exclusive that's fallen onto the floor, their roll bar or shift lane. So now I have 2 parts of the new Combaticon combiner, which I'm looking forward to opening up. I just didn't have any time today with various things going on. I picked up my first and only, which is my game plan, Blockies Smokescreen for obvious reasons. So I got this from Rick Alvarez. So thank you, Rick Alvarez. I appreciate that.
So
Those things seem to be really popular at the show this weekend.
Yeah, Eric said there was tons of them.
Yeah, they were everywhere. That's the only one I wanted. Rick is the only one that had one that I knew of that was out and assembled. So yeah, I probably kind of missed out on something due to the fun of the assembly, but I would rather pay just a little bit more and not take a crap shoot in the dark on picking one up.
I'll be honest, like trying to assemble one, I don't think they're very fun.
Speaking of third party Omnibots, as we were talking about, I picked up Yaguchi, which is X-Trend Bots Downshift, who is my favorite Omnibot, and I'm so looking forward to having time and opening him up. So picked him up as well. Got him a little cheaper than retail, so I'm always happy about that. Today from Walmart.com, I decided now that they actually got unstupid on the price. I got the Thundertron set because I kind of really wanted it for the Rat Bat recolor and then the Weaponizer recolor because I have the single release of Thundertron, but this one's supposed to have some differences as well. So we'll see which one I keep. But for some reason, even under the sold by Walmart filter, it was still coming up at $90 for the longest time. So it finally dropped down below that. But the biggest thing I got wasn't even at the show. I was traveling up with Christy through Winchester, Virginia, because we were going up to bypass DC, going up. And there's a toy store in Winchester, Virginia called Time Traveler Toys. Well, they had behind the counter the third party, KFC, Snapdragon, and Ape Face, which have been pretty much long out of production. They had $300 for the pair. I asked him for his best price. He said $225. I said, would you be willing to go to? He said, yeah. And then I told him, I said, oh, by the way, I'm taking some stuff up to TFcon. I've got an extra Commander class Optimus Prime that I don't need. And he said, do you want to get rid of it? I said, yes. I said, would that and $100 be good enough for them? He said, yes. So I was able to get both Headmaster Horrorcons for $100 and that extra Optimus that I didn't need anyway. from a $300 original price tag.
Nice.
And they go for more than that now if you can find them. So on topic, Brian, are GoBots on topic?
Yeah.
Thanks to Eric Crownover, when I was at that store, I found him a Legends class Bisque, and he traded me for a Street Heat with some absolutely incredible looking, like chrome windshields and stuff. Mine is very scratched up. This has almost no damage at all. So, and finding one of these where the legs aren't ready to fall apart off of it, excellent trade. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate that. That's all I got.
So, Matt, what did you get at TFcon?
Well, I'll start off with the stuff I bought from Michael Charles Hill at his table because he had little DevCon magnets. So that was lovely. I picked one of those up. Also got the script for one of my favorite episodes, which he happened to write, which is The Burden Hardest to Bear. And he did a kind of a backup story, a history of DevCon, an origin story for DevCon. I have not read it yet, but I shall.
I meant to go back and pick that up, and I forgot to.
Shame on you, Don.
Sorry, there was a lot going on.
I also stopped by Bobby Skullface's table and picked up a woven blanket. It's Combaticons this year because I always get one of those whenever we're at the same show. But my big purchase for the weekend, I really, really wish Chris was here to see this because I wanted to see the look on his face. Don doesn't know what this is. I swore the Steel City Bots guys and Diecast to secrecy, like no tweeting, no nothing all week. But I found for a lovely price Fire Guts Gone Jinrai.
I'm so jealous.
Oh my God. That wasn't the one that was $1,000, was it?
No,
Matt?
it was not. It was
because you saw that
far
one, right?
less than that. Yes,
you saw that one. Yeah, that was the only one I saw at the convention.
That was the first one I saw at the convention. Then I walked around the corner and saw this one for way less.
Awesome. That is incredible.
It was from a gentleman who was just thinning out his collection. He hated to see it go. It is open, so we opened it and inspected it. Everything is there. Unapplied stickers. Chrome is gorgeous. So,
I am so happy.
So
Matt.
was it last year when you got Nucleon Quest Convoy?
I didn't get to go last year because that was in Florida. It was the year before in Chicago.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I told Miguel this is technically his fault that I bought this because he's the one that sold me the Nucleon Quest, and then I just had to have every instance of the mold. So,
John, you have that, don't you?
Yeah, I've got it.
Yeah,
No, I do too.
Put away.
yes, it is absolutely gorgeous.
I don't,
Awesome.
and I am jealous.
It was one of my grails that I never thought I would find a price that I was willing to pay. And I found a price that I was definitely willing to pay. So that was like that. I bought that on the first day and then I was pretty much done in the dealer room after that first purchase. I was like, what else am I going to find that's going to top that? And so, yeah, I just went back over the next couple of days and, hit, Michael Charles Hill's table and Bobby's table, and that was it that's all I needed out of the weekend. That and like good times with some friends.
Cool. So I'll say that I need that, and I'll end up buying it and paying too much. And I'll end up buying and paying too much for P/Shiny Magnus. I don't have it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'll need that. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, let's jump back. I wanted to talk about TFcon. I wanted to sort of I wasn't able to go. I wanted to live vicariously through Matt and Don. So I feel like we've done that. Couple news items to hit on. Going to just run through them really quick. Nothing major going on this week. Then we'll sort of resume format and I'll talk about the couple things I got. And if John got anything, we can talk about what he got as well. So we have official stock images of the Godzilla cross Transformers. You guys get a chance to look at them?
Yep.
What do you think?
I mean, hard pass.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I think
they tried. But
yeah, they tried, but they didn't try that hard.
No. Disappointing, but hey, if you're a Godzilla fan, knock yourself out.
Yeah. There's a Transformers Eternal War mobile game trailer apparently it uses in-game footage, but I'm assuming it's like in-game, like whatever the term. Brain not braining right now. What's the word? What's the term, John? Like when you have like an action scene, cutscene, cutscene or something like that.
Cutscene or cinematic.
Cinematic, yeah.
Yeah.
So the trailer is just firmly just like an action sequence. I don't think the game looks like what it shows. I don't even know what type of game it is.
Yeah, it's not actual gameplay, but it's something from the game.
Yeah. But in the parade of constant Transformers mobile games that never quite pan out or last as long as they need to, there's another one coming, Eternal War, hopefully. Hopefully it's good. Haven't played a mobile game in 10, 12 years. They just don't last. This is more for Diecast, and he's not here, but the Hot Wheels Cross Transformers Ford Mustang GT Barricade revealed. Anybody care?
I care on paper. I mean, it sounds cool, but I'm not actually going to get it. But
No.
I like the idea.
Yeah. You can see why we spent 30 minutes on TFcon. Not a lot to talk about.
Newsweek.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick though, a Hot Wheels Transformers collab is like non-news now already. So
yeah, right. Isn't it weird?
it is weird how like the world changes so fast, and so like we don't even care anymore about that. About a Hot Wheels Transformers collaboration. Just kind of,
I think
a minute on it.
I think the fact that there's so many Hot Wheels collaborative toys, even though like a lot of them are like Mattel internal branded properties, you'll have the Masters of the Universe stuff and whatever else. Like the novelty of it's not like you have to really know the ins and outs of the toy industry to know this is Mattel and this is Hasbro and like to the average person, they'll be like, oh, Optimus Prime, he's a Hot Wheel. But to us, it's big. It's a big deal, or it was for 5 minutes.
It was. Yeah. 5 minutes.
Okay, let's jump to what we got this week. On topic, Matt and Don, did you guys have anything did you have any other like non-TFcon purchases?
No, the Thundertron was a Walmart purchase, but that was it.
Okay.
I got one.
Oh, wait. You talked about Thundertron. Oh, that's right. Don,
sorry, I thought you meant just what we got this week. I didn't realize you meant
it meant strictly TFcon.
Sorry. I got confused.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go and edit that out and move it to here.
Right, yeah, you have to.
I'm not going to. I'm giving you crap. Okay. John, were you about to say something?
No, I was doubling down on your yes, you're gonna completely re-edit the show.
Yeah.
Just to make it perfect.
Yeah.
I didn't get anything, by the way, on topic.
So
I got one.
Oh yes, what?
So I got Generations Quake from Pulse in the mail.
Do you hate it?
I mean, I like the robot mode. It's fine. I wish the colors were a little bit deeper. Like his Titan's Return one from a couple years ago, the colors were really, really rich and vibrant. These are a little, like, they're still pretty vibrant, but not as deep. I do not like the tank mode. I believe Dawn covered that up pretty well. He hated the way the legs transform. I kind of dig it. It's my kind of thing. I love whenever the legs kind of explode out to form the whole side of the vehicle. One of his Target Masters, the blue one, Tip Top, I think it is going to be an issue because the peg on his chest, the handle for the gun, is covered in a thick layer of paint. That is 100% going to rub off. It's already got, like, I put it in his hand once and it's already got some scraping on it. So, yeah. Decide whether you want him to hold the gun or not. Pick one and stick with it. But, yeah, tank mode, not great. Robot mode, fine. And
yeah, Matt,
that's it for me this week.
Do you feel like it's a Pretender shell vehicle mode that needs a Pretender shell to be better? That's the vibe I got from it.
I think it needed its own mold and not to be a Skullgrin like third run. But that's it for me, Brian.
Cool. Okay, so I went to Ollie's, and I got the Jurassic Park crossover, the TFcon and JP12 for $20, I think. I don't have any real desire to open it. I don't. It may go to Toys for Tots. I haven't decided. Are bin stores a thing where you guys are? So
yes.
Okay, so basically people will go and buy pallets of stuff on auction or whatever, and then they'll dump them into bins and charge like a flat price for like different things.
And different days or different prices based on the newness of the item.
Yeah. So I was at one this weekend. Kim loves these things. Like I feel dirty.
So does Christy.
I feel dirty going into them.
So does Christy.
But there was a Transformers Nerf gun. It's a Bumblebee. Oops. And I don't know. It's an Elite 2.0, whatever that means. It has like 4 barrels, and they each fire independently. I don't know. It's Bumblebee Nerf gun. I didn't have it.
So just a bunch of those were in a bin.
Yeah.
That's how that worked?
Yeah.
Okay.
And last Transformers thing I got was mint on sealed card deluxe Fox Kids Tarantulas. I had mentioned this last week.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So pretty.
So my goal, I was going to mention this when Don was talking about the carded G2 stuff. Like my goal is to like complete G2 mint in sealed box or mint on sealed card. And basically that's my goal with Beast Wars as well. And this is one of the harder ones to get.
Yeah.
And I don't even have it loose anymore. So I was very happy to get this on eBay at a fairly reasonable price. Not reasonable, but fairly reasonable.
Probably of all the Fox Kids recolors, that's the hardest one. That's the hardest one.
Oh, it's the hardest one to get. It's the only good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Cheetor's not much different. The Rhinox is weird
Bad.
looking.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is crazy. Again, old man point of view. It is crazy when you hold that up and think that that was a deluxe back in the day.
Oh, yeah. And it would have been $10.
Yeah.
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 Okay. John, did you get anything I forgot? Did I ask?
Nope.
Okay.
No, that's the non-topic.
So let's jump to off-topic. Ham sandwiches, which are exclusive to patrons. Don, what did you get?
A couple of great things. On the way up, we stopped by Walmart, and I got Clock King. And it was sort of sadly ironic that the gentleman that played Clock King in the Batman animated series passed away over the weekend. But this is the Justice League Antarctica version, so I kind of had to have him. So that was that. Matt, that's right, John. I want to ask you about this. I saw this at that toy show, at that toy shop on the way up. I have the Samurai Usagi sketch, and I have the Samurai Usagi colored. I've never seen one with him in just black and white. Is that a running change? Is it a variant? Because I've never seen this one. Okay.
Yeah, they do black and white variants.
Okay,
because it's Steamboat Usagi.
Steamboat Usagi.
Yes, indeed.
So I just, with NECA and distribution both being wonky as hell, I wasn't sure how hard this was to find if I just never saw it. But I only see the color and the sketch.
Yeah, the black and white ones are actually, I think, technically like through Stan Sakai, and they'll I think all of them. I don't know if that one specifically, but most of them show up at Target at some point, and even the online retailers like Big Bad will carry them from time to time. But obviously, like it's a color variant of the cartoon Usagi, but it's not technically part of the cartoon toy line. It's like a Stan Sakai thing.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm happy to get. I got it at retail, so I'm happy with that.
But yeah, those are great molds for sure.
Yep.
Really cool
I got
looking.
Nemesis Immortal / Enforcer from Hasbro Pulse when it went up for order. Didn't realize it was an in-stock item. It's like, okay, this will come in a couple of months, and your order is shipped.
Yep. Mine said it shipped, which is what I got as well, and then it went days without actually shipping.
Apparently, it keeps going in and out of stock because I only wanted one, and apparently I'm lucky to have gotten that with it going in and out like that. And the last thing I got just came today, and it's something I've been looking forward to for the past several months. It's Ramen Toys is the one that did the legally adjacent Brave Star figure that I showed off a few months ago. They've done a line of licensed Silverhawk products. They've also done a line of adjacent mask products. This is their second one, Great White, which is a take on the Gloria Baker character that we never got in the US, and her vehicle and figure was only released extremely limited overseas. So I'm very happy to have gotten this because it's probably the only representation we're going to get because there wasn't that many ladies in mask. And other than Vanessa Warfield with Manta, none of them that I know of got any actual toy products.
I thought she got one in the split seconds.
Okay, maybe she did.
The last wave.
Split seconds is where I kind of like couldn't find anything at the time because that whole last split seconds wave was terribly distributed.
Yeah.
So
super hard to find.
Yeah, but really looking forward to opening this and having at least a representation of that shark on the shelf. It's got spinning turbines, firing missiles, so I'm really looking forward to opening up that. But that's all I got off topic this week.
Matt, what about you?
I got a a regular mini plot kit, and it is Dark Kyoryugen. So from Power Rangers Dino Charge, and from Jun Sento Kyoryuger. It's the all black and gold version. It also comes with a regular version of the Triceratops and the Stegosaurus that if you have one of the King Oger sets, I think it has the Tyrannosaurus you need to go with them. So I need to pick that up now. I may have it in my pile of Big Bad Toy Store as we speak. And I also got the Shoto Super Dengekitai Jaka, the second, I believe, Super Sentai team ever from like 1978, I think. So, as usual, comes with tons and tons of accessories, just dozens and dozens of hands alone, and weapons and stuff like that. But that's it for me this week.
So, Matt, Jack Hugh was actually retroactively made into a Sentai, right?
It was always a Sentai. It was always up in the air whether it was Super Sentai or not, because it was before they were doing the robots, if I'm correct.
Okay.
I think it was Go Ranger and Jacka did not have the mecha. That didn't show up until Battle Fever J.
John, did you get anything?
Are you going to talk about Nemesis Immortal? Did you actually get him? You said it was delayed, but did you get it?
I got it. It said it shipped. Then there were several days when I kept checking the tracking on it, and it said that still waiting the package. I got it day before yesterday. Funny enough, one of Kim's friends at work, I was talking to her about something work related on Microsoft Teams. And then she randomly asked me, "Did you get your Nemesis Immortal yesterday?" And I'm like, "Yes, I did." And she's like, "I did too," which I thought was awesome.
She got one too?
Kim's friend, funny enough, actually sells toys at toy conventions. And I'm like, how is it that Kim's friend at work does that and I don't? So, but yeah, I got it. I haven't opened it yet, but I might not. It just looks so nice in the package.
Yeah, he does look really good. I did. So that was my big one for the week, but I did open him, and he's awesome. Again, I love any classified figure that just does not have like the standard typical mold that so many of them are just based off of. So I mean, he's completely new, except for, I don't know, maybe his arms. Some parts of his arms might be like from Road Pig or something, but basically he's completely new. I really like him. If you're gonna nitpick, I think maybe his like ab crunch joint is a little bit loose, not terribly loose. It's just not super tight. but he looks awesome. He's gigantic. His wings are more articulated than I thought they would be. And for some reason, I didn't even pick up until I opened him that his wings are semi-translucent. So they look really good in light. And I like his two head sculpts, the more classic-y version, and then the new one they did with the more armor across the his eyebrows and such. So he's really good. I guess the only other thing, he doesn't hold his swords super tightly. They don't kind of slot into his hands in a real secure way. But again, like those are like nitpicks. Like I think he's really really good. So I'm really happy that we have some diversity now, kind of in scale with classified, and I think in particular he's really good. So I was happy with him. That's all I got.
So
go
ahead, Don.
Sorry, I was going to ask John. So we've got Vipra, if you want to count her as that Vipra, and then we got Nemesis Immortal. So really, all we need is Globulus for the hat trick.
You did the Royal Guards.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So yeah, some cannon fodder. But yeah, I'm sure Globulus is.
So we have a Pythona. Is that what you're saying, Don?
Well, no. Well, there's a character called Vipra.
Yeah.
So I didn't know.
Vipra.
Yeah, I didn't know if
Python
she
controller.
was.
She's not Is she Pythona?
No, it's different. Pythona is going to be her own thing. I'm sure we're going to get one.
I
Okay.
wasn't sure if Viper was supposed to be part of this or not with the name.
No. So we need a Pythona. We need a Globulus and the Royal Guard.
Or you need many Royal Guards.
Yeah. But like that Globulus figure will be expensive if they do him.
Yeah, that'll have to be like, I don't know if that'd be one of their like Marvel Legends pre-order things or not.
Ooh, don't say that. Don't put that.
Yeah. We don't need a Cobra Law Hasbro.
Well, you need the snake tail and the big ball he sits in. So
yeah, I mean, God, it'll.
Because I mean, when they did Dragon Man, that was only like $80.
Yeah,
and then a throne.
Yeah. I figure he'll be like $80 at least. So I was going to ask. I cannot remember, even though I've watched it not 1,000 times. I probably watched Transformers the movie 1,000 times. I haven't watched G.I. Joe the movie that many times.
Just because Transformers the movie is better.
It is better. So does Sergeant Slaughter appear in his original costume, or is it the Slaughter's Marauders?
Original.
Yeah, it's original.
Okay, because what I was going to say, I know where my Slaughter's Marauders Sergeant Slaughter is, but I don't know where my original. I know the bin it's in. I know it's in a bin. I just don't know where it is. It's deep in the storage. I want to have him out so I can have Sarge beating the crap out of him.
Yes, giving him a suplex.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah. Okay.
God,
Cobra
I love
clutch.
that.
Cobra clutch. Yes.
God, I love that. Because Hulk Hogan turned out to be a pretty horrible person, not related to anything political, but just like all the horrible things that he said and his racist comments and things.
Yeah.
I have in my mind gone back and replaced it. Like, I'll be honest, as a kid, Hulk Hogan to me was like Hercules. Like, he was like a demigod. He was like, he was like a superhero. And I believe, like we're all the same age. Yeah. Like, we didn't know. But I've gone back and reinvested all of that love and everything that I had in Hulk Hogan into Sergeant Slaughter because of his connection to G.I. Joe. So I just get like the warm fuzzies when I think about G.I. Joe Sergeant Slaughter, not the wrestler Sergeant Slaughter, just G.I. Joe Sergeant Slaughter. So I need to get my Sarge out. Very specifically, not my not the stolen valor Sergeant Slaughter, but the G.I. Joe Sergeant Slaughter. So I need to get that figure out so they can fight. So, oh man. Okay. Yeah. Hey, so, does anybody know, cause I haven't kept up with like G.I. Joe from a fiction or an IP standpoint. Why did they make the change from Nemesis Enforcer to Nemesis Immortal? It's been like that for a long time, but I don't know why. Does anybody know?
I never even knew about it until this came out.
Yeah. I honestly didn't either. It's gotta be trademark, right? But it happened a long time ago, I guess.
Well, the last version of, Nemesis, Immortal that came out for 25th was Immortal. I'm pretty certain. So it's been Nemesis Immortal for a while.
Yeah. Okay.
I didn't even realize they had one for the 25th anniversary.
Yeah, that line.
I mean, they've even had they have a 4-inch Pythona too. I mean, they've actually done a lot of a lot of crazy stuff if you look back.
I fell off of that line fairly early because it was getting too expensive.
Yeah. I got most everything. No surprise, but I did. Yeah, but like, I just don't. It just does not age as well as Real American Hero for me.
I still love the figures.
About, like the 4-inch line or the classified?
The 4-inch line.
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm.
I still love the figures.
Yeah, me too. Okay. Want to thank our patrons at patreon.com/TFradio. Patrons get an ad-free version of Radio Free Cybertron. You get it a day early, the day before. Doesn't necessarily mean 24 hours. You get it at a higher bit rate. You get the complete What We Got This Week segment of the podcast, which today was very heavy on G.I. Joe. You get a weekly Patreon exclusive pre-show podcast. If there are any major edits of the show, you get the unedited version. You get There Goes My Money a week early. Patrons, the touch tier, get to be on There Goes My Money, which is recorded typically twice monthly. You get a fancy color on Discord. Touch patrons get to be mentioned on the show each week and also listed at tfradio.net/credits, and I will do that now. Okay. Kevin Dorsey, Daniel Scott, Jacob Owen Lucia, Sean Bratton, Emmett Stresovich, Hector Bones, Jay Klein Rye, Joey Russell, Here's Why It's Cool, Rabbits, Ryan Bona, Sean Hamilton, Sean Williamson, Spider Bob, Trickster, Nathan's Fast Talk Food Reviews, and Mollusk Koenig. Thank you all so much. And if you want to be listed with those esteemed people, go to patreon.com/TFradio and sign up at the touched tier. Let's see here. Diecast is not here this week. You can find him at Diecast 2, most everywhere. Rob and Chris are not here. Rob is on Blue Sky at flailthroughs.bsky.social, I believe. And he has a Patreon. I think it's Flailthroughs. I don't have it memorized. Chris, you can find on our Discord at tfradio.net/discord. Chris has an Amazon wishlist at tfradio.net/chrislist. Rob has one at tfradio.net/roblist. No, claylist. And Diecast has one at tfradio.net/diecastlist, I believe. You can find all of our podcasts going back too many years at tfradio.net. You can find me at briankilby.com and at kilby.bsky.social. Rob Springer not here as well. He is at Rob Springer on Twitter, at zonebase.org, and at zonebase.bsky.social. Donald, how do people get a hold of you?
I am reached on Twitter at HMRC, the number 4 EBR. We're reached on Blue Sky at HMRC, the number 4 EBR.bluesky.social. I have Amazon wish list at tfradio.net/donlist.
John.
That John D everywhere.
Except eBay, where your cloudburst.
Except eBay, where on cloudburst. Check it out.
Yeah. Matt, you're on Blue Sky now, right?
Yeah, I use it occasionally. Melvar.bsky.social. That's with 3 L's and 2 R's. And Rob is actually at Rob Flails.
Rob Flails. Thank you. Cool. Okay. Well, people, thank you very much for being here. We love you. We'll catch you next week. Have a good one.
Recording stopped.
Well, that was an hour of a calm diversion.
Mm-hmm.
I sent my wife, I found, like during the show, I found an online Technicolor photo filter. And I sent a picture of our 5-year-old when she was a baby at the Christmas photo of her. And Kim responded not with "aw" or "that's cute." She responded with "my eyes are burning." I love Technicolor. Okay. Hey, people watching live, I'm going to kill the stream because it's time. So I'm going to say goodbye to Twitch first. Twitch, goodbye. YouTube, I'm saying goodbye to you now. Goodbye, YouTube. We'll see you next week.